Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt, and welcome back to another short war video. And today it seems like everything's popping off all around the world, and today we have very big news out of Ukraine, Russia, Venezuela, India, and Pakistan, and let's jump right into it. This morning, Pakistan's declared they are in a state of war as Pakistani officials blame India for a major attack in the capital city of Islamabad. Meanwhile, we now have footage showing Pakistan deploying heavy military equipment to the borders as they prepare to respond in force. We also have news out of Romania that a Russian attack drone has crashed onto NATO territory as authorities investigate the cause of the incident. Meanwhile, Ukraine's launched a series of devastating long-range attacks on several different oil refineries across Russia, and we also have news out of Thailand and Cambodia, as well as news about a Turkish military plane mysteriously crashing over the former Soviet state of Georgia. So we have very big news today. We have even more than that. That's just some of it right there. So let's jump right into our first article, which goes to none other than Clash Report. And this right here is one of our biggest stories of the day. Right now we're hearing from the Pakistani Defense Minister Khawaja Asif. He says that they are in a state of war right now in Pakistan. So this is a very big deal. We had been hearing India make very strong statements that Operation Sindoor, which was the military operation against Pakistan, was not over yet. Now we're hearing that the Pakistanis are saying they are in a state of war. So it's not looking good right now between India and Pakistan, and also throw Afghanistan in the mix as well, because Afghanistan's now involved allegedly in attacking Pakistan. So we have a whole situation breaking out here with this that seems to be going off the rails quickly. But let's take a look and see what the Pakistani defense minister said right in his Twitter post right here. And he said, "We are in a state of war, and anyone who thinks that the Pakistan army is fighting this war in the Afghan-Pakistan border region and the remote areas of Balochistan should take today's attack on the Islamabad district courts as a wake-up call. And this is a war for all of Pakistan, in which the Pakistan army is giving daily sacrifices and making the people feel secure. And in this environment, it would be futile to hold out greater hope for successful negotiations with the rulers of Kabul and Afghanistan. And the rulers of Kabul can stop these attacks in Pakistan, but bringing this war all the way to Islamabad is a message from Kabul to which Pakistan has the full strength to respond." So as you can see right there, it looks like they are indeed preparing for some type of military action, and they're specifically referring to Afghanistan, but also they are blaming India as well. They are not just pointing the fingers at Afghanistan and the Taliban, they're also pointing their fingers back at India about this whole situation as well. So moving into our next post here, this one goes to Insider Paper. And you might be wondering, what is the attack that the Pakistanis are referring to when they say an attack on Islamabad? And right here we actually have footage showing what appears to be a car on fire from a major explosion, and they're calling this an attack by some group, most likely from Afghanistan, on the Pakistani capital of Islamabad. So let's take a look at the video here. It shows a fire with a car, and let's see exactly what's going on. So right here you see it's pure chaos. There's a car on fire right there that allegedly, I believe, exploded. And you see they're trying to put a fire extinguisher, which sounded like a clown horn, on it as well. But as you can see there, it's chaos right now inside of Islamabad, which is the capital city of Pakistan. And this right here is being deemed as an attack. And they're saying it's coming from Afghanistan, but also somehow backed up by India at the same time. So that's what we're hearing. But moving into our next post here, this one goes to Conflict Radar. And we are seeing that allegedly Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has blamed India for the attack in Islamabad. So right now the death toll is about 12 people, and they are confirming this as an attack, and right now this appears to be causing tensions to boil over even worse than they already were. But moving into our next post here, we get some more information about why the tensions are boiling over so bad, and this one goes to Fightux Network. And if you hadn't already heard, there was a major attack in Delhi inside of India about a day or two ago, and we reported on that in a short war video, by the way. But we are seeing a major blast in Delhi, and it looks like a live bullet was found on the ground near the blast site, according to police sources. So here is some of the aftermath of it right here. You can see there are some scraps of cars right here that apparently got exploded in this attack, and there's a live bullet right there sitting on the ground that investigators claim they found right next to the site. So it's looking like we are seeing attacks inside of India, and we're also seeing attacks in Pakistan, and there's a lot of confusion right now about exactly who pulled this off. But obviously India and Pakistan are going to point fingers at each other, and that's exactly what's happening right now. So tensions are indeed soaring rapidly. But we're getting some more disturbing news here in our next next post, which goes to conflict radar, because this is causing both sides to prepare for war. And right now we're seeing that India's Prime Minister Modi has announced a security cabinet meeting for tomorrow, which is today, at 5:30 p.m. local time after the Delhi explosion. So they are discussing military action to respond to this, and that's what the meeting is about. And this is not the only thing, by the way, because moving into our next post here, we're also seeing that Pakistan is making their own escalations of their own type right here, and we are seeing heavy military movements observed in Pakistan this morning, and they are once again moving tanks and all kinds of heavy equipment to their borders to prepare for some type of military action. And right now we're really not sure against who yet. It could be against India, or it could be against Afghanistan, or maybe even both of them. Right now we're not really sure, but let's take a look at the video and see this equipment moving to the border right this second. So there's absolutely no sound in this video, but as you can see though, lines and lines of trucks with tanks on the back of them right here. Military trucks lining the street, and this is a very big deal for many reasons. First of all, it's showing that Pakistan is indeed intending on actually doing some military action against someone, and number two, this is a very large deployment. This is not small, so we're potentially looking at the very beginning of a very large conflict right here between Pakistan and maybe India and Afghanistan. So a very big deal right there on camera, and we now have proof of it as of this morning. But moving into our next post here, we're going to move into a different topic, and this one goes to Visegrad 24, and this is also another bombshell piece of news right now coming out of Romania. Because as we can see right here, a Russian attack drone has struck Romanian territory yet again this morning, and this appears to be another similar strike that we've seen before. And of course, I believe the Russians are going to call this accidental, but it's happened so many times in the past that if they haven't fixed the accident by now, then it's starting to seem really intentional. So we're seeing here the reports of debris of a drone being found today across the river from the Ukrainian town of Romania, which was under Russian attack last night. And of course, Romania is a NATO member state. So right here you can see there is the port of Romania on the Ukrainian side that's circled in purple at the top right of the picture. And right here where you see the tag, that is allegedly where some of the debris was found right across the border into Romania. So like I mentioned, this is not the first time this has happened. It has happened before, and we did confirm there was an attack on the port of Romania last night, and with it being in such close proximity, it is possible that it accidentally went across the border, but nonetheless, that does not excuse the fact that a drone just crashed and exploded on NATO territory yet again, and NATO did not do a single thing about it. They let it crash and they did not shoot it down. So very disturbing to see that yet again, and we're waiting on more details about this strike. But moving on to our next post here, this one goes to Military News Ukraine, and we've also gotten some very big footage here showing a very long-range attack by Ukraine on multiple different oil refineries inside of mainland Russia last night, and we saw a very long one right here in Orsk, and we also saw another one in Saratov. But first of all, let's take a look at this long strike in Orsk, over 1,400 kilometers from the Ukrainian border that this was struck. So Ukraine's getting very good at these long-range strikes, and I guess you could call this a version of Russian sanctions by Ukraine. So let's take a look at our first video, and we have 3 of them to look at here showing every step of the attack. So let's take a look. So right there you can see, there was a very short little video there, 2 seconds, but you can see and hear the drone coming in right there. You can see it on camera, and it was coming straight for the oil refinery, and I did not hear any air defense in that video. So maybe we'll hear some in the next 2 videos of the same attack, but let's move on to our next video here and see what's going on in our next post, which goes to Max25, where we get a different angle of the drone coming in and striking Orsk. So let's take a look. And right there it goes. It's right over the horizon. And you can hear, like I said, pretty much no air defense whatsoever. And there it is, throttling up a little bit. And it is crazy to believe that thing went 1,400 miles to get to Orsk, all the way from Ukraine. That is wild. Like, the fuel capacity on that thing must be pretty significant for it to go that far. And there it goes off into the distance, and the Orsk refinery is right out of camera view from this shot right here. So once again, very impressive it's going that far. But let's go ahead and move into our last video of the Orsk attack, which shows the aftermath of it, which was a very big aftermath. So let's take a look at this video and see it literally going in blazes from the drone we just saw on camera. Let's take a look. And there it is. This is the third and final video of the Orsk refinery attack, and as you can see out there in the distance, it was a successful strike. 1,400 miles to hit exactly right in the dead center of the Orsk oil refinery. So that is a big hit right there, and it looks like it has devastated the oil refinery, and it will likely be out for probably several weeks, if not months, according to what we're seeing right here. So this is a very big hit indeed, and from that one single drone you just saw coming in on camera. So truly remarkable to see that. But that was not all that Ukraine did last night. right. But moving into our next post here, this one also goes to Tendar, and we can see that Saratov was also struck heavily as well. Because we can see right here, the Saratov oil refinery in Russia has been shot ablaze, and the facility is allegedly run by Rosneft and produces about 7 million tons of oil products annually. So a very big plant, and a very big one to lose, by the way. And let's take a look here. It looks like we have fire coming out the smokestack. We got fire coming off pretty much everything on this plant right here. Some say the biggest fire that they've ever seen, but that's just the rumors we're hearing. But let's take a look and see exactly what this looks like. And there it is. That is Saratov right there, and it is burning quite badly. As you can see, it's literally lighting the clouds up. And it looks like there's some searchlights, actually. Am I seeing that properly? I think I'm seeing some searchlights coming from the site of the oil refinery right there. Never really seen that before. I guess they're trying to search for more drones coming in. That's kind of wild right there if I'm seeing that properly. I think that actually is searchlights I'm seeing coming out from the site. So I guess they're trying to manually target them. I guess that's why they're using searchlights. But I think the fire is illuminating the area quite well. So I'm not even sure why they need that. But it looks like a prison escape or something's happened here with those searchlights. It's kind of wild. Never seen that before. But as you can see, Saratov is kaput. But moving into our next post here, this one goes to Nexta. And let's move on to this story right here, because I think we're looking at the next major scandal right now between Russia and Turkey, but that's just my assumption right now. So let's see. The Turkish Defense Ministry has reported that a C-130 military transport aircraft, which had taken off from Azerbaijan, has crashed in Georgia. But this crash is very unusual. This is a very unusual looking crash right here, if I do say so myself. And when we watch this video here in just a second, you're going to see why. This aircraft looked like it was spinning to the ground, which is not normal for a regular crash, and it looks like it might have been hit by something. That's my layman's opinion on it. It looks like maybe something has fallen off the aircraft or maybe struck it, causing it to land in this manner, or actually crash in this manner. So let's take a look at the video, and you can make up your own mind for yourself. So let's take a look. So taking a look right here, this is the footage. Look at that. It's in a spiral going down. There appears to be a section maybe of the tail on the left right there. So this thing is just going straight down and spiraling to the ground. It's about to impact here in just a second. And there it is. It just hit the ground right there. But very odd. Very, very odd indeed. That's very strange looking. And I'm really having some doubts right now about what caused this. Right now, we're not really sure what caused it. But as you can see, very odd circumstances indeed happening right over Georgia. But moving on to our next post here, this one also goes to Conflict Radar. And we've gotten some more news and pictures about this crash. And according to the Turkish Defense Ministry, there were 20 military personnel on board the plane. And there are no reports of survivors yet. And unfortunately, I think this might not be survivable just by looking at the pictures. Let me go ahead and show you so you can see them as well. There's one of the aftermath pictures right there. It looks like the plane is completely flattened. And here's another one right here appearing to show maybe the tail section, it looks like. I can't really tell, but it looks like it is indeed a pretty unsurvivable situation just looking at it right here. So a very, very ugly situation happening right now with the C-130 crash, and I doubt anyone survived it. So very bad indeed. But right now, that is all we know about it right now. I really can't say much more about it than that, but we are waiting for more details because to me, I think there are a lot of unanswered questions here that are probably going to have some bad answers to them. That's just my hunch. But moving on to our next one here, this one goes to Null Reports, and we've also gotten some very rare footage right now coming out of Pokrovsk, and right now there's some very heavy fighting happening between Ukrainian forces and Russian forces in this area, and there's been rumors that maybe Ukraine's going to lose Pokrovsk, and right now we're seeing exactly what the situation on the ground is, which is a very rare insight into what's happening here. So we are seeing in this video we got that Russian forces are exploiting heavy fog and poor weather to push light vehicles into southern Pokrovsk, and Ukrainian sources confirm the conditions are hampering drone operations, which is making it very hard to spot and strike these Russian movements. So this might explain why Russia's having some limited success in Pokrovsk, is because the fog and the weather is so bad that Ukraine can't launch their drones, which is one of the main ways that Ukraine repels these Russian forces. So that might explain a lot, but let's take a look at the video here and see exactly what the Russians are doing to actually meet the Ukrainians head on. Let's take a look. Alright, so as you can see right here, this is Pokrovsk, and this is the Russians, and they're moving in these light vehicles right here, a bunch of dirt bikes. I don't even know what that is, a Build-up or something, but a bunch of buhankas, bicycles, motorcycles, It looks like a clown force coming in, to be perfectly honest. It looks like a joke, but these are the Russians going into Pokrovsk right now, so they're not sending their best, to say the least. Definitely not their best, but they are definitely sending a lot of forces in, so I guess they're expecting the numbers are going to overwhelm the Ukrainian forces, but I mean, look at these vehicles, though. I mean, that is a buildup that's coming up right here. I don't even know really what that even is, and also it's like the suspension's blown out. These are some rough vehicles coming in. These are not even military vehicles that they're sending in, so, you know, the force quality is not good, but the fog is making it very hard for Ukraine to strike back. So we get an idea from this video of exactly what's going on here, and it looks like it could be maybe defeated by the Ukrainians. If the weather lets up, the Ukrainians could fight back and defeat the Russians, I'm trying to say here, but the weather letting up, that's a big question mark right now. So if it doesn't, Ukraine might be having a very hard time defending, but if the fog does let up, Ukraine might be able to defend the area. So right now, we're watching that very closely to see what's happening inside of Pokrovsk. But moving into our next post here, this one goes to open source intel. You know, might remember, we reported on this about 2 days ago. We saw that Tuapse, which is the Russian port in the Black Sea in Krasnodar, was hit strongly by something, and we're hearing today reports that it was a Ukrainian Flamingo cruise missile, one of the first uses of it ever, carrying a 1-ton warhead that hit the port, and that explains the huge explosion we saw. So let's take a look at the video and see what appears to be the Flamingo aftermath, and one of the first videos we have here showing the aftermath of that new infamous Flamingo missile that has been domestically produced by Ukraine. So let's take a look. So right here we see there's Tuapse port, and there is the huge explosion right there. That had to be a 1-ton warhead or something extremely large, and that appears to be most likely a Flamingo missile that struck that site. So the Flamingo appears to be extremely potent, to say the least, if that is indeed a Flamingo, and right now we're going off reporting about that. So if it is a Flamingo, it looks like those could be extremely deadly, and if Ukraine can ramp up production of those, that could be very devastating to the Russian war effort. So very interesting to see that footage as well. But moving on to our next post here, this one goes to the Intel Frog, and we also have some very interesting news right now coming out of Venezuela and the area of the Caribbean. Because right here we can see the first ship from the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group is about to arrive in the Caribbean, and we can see right here, there it is. It is only about a little ways outside of the area of Venezuela, and it's arrived in the area of responsibility for the area which is responsible for Venezuela. So that means the Gerald R. Ford is not too far behind, and we finally see that the Aircraft Carrier Strike Group has arrived near Venezuela, which means that if action is about to take place on Venezuela, it could be happening very, very soon. So we did see that today, but also moving into our next post here, we gotten some very disturbing news right now from Phytex Network about UK intelligence sharing between the United States and the UK. Because we can see here, the UK is no longer sharing intelligence with the US about suspected drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean because it does not want to be complicit in US military strikes, and it believes the attacks are illegal, at least according to what we're hearing right now. So it sounds like the UK is taking a step back from this and they don't want any part of it, and I'm going to leave this one up to debate. I'm not going to say my own opinion on it. I'm just going to leave this as it is and report on it, and we do see here that apparently that is the case. So we're waiting to see if maybe that will change anytime soon, but it sounds like the UK wants no hand in this whatsoever. So jumping into our next post here, this one goes to Conflict Radar, and we have one more area of news to cover before we round out the video. And this piece of news comes out of Thailand and Cambodia, because as you know, the Pakistan-India situation is firing back up, but also at the exact same time, we're seeing Thailand and Cambodia firing back up at the same time. It looks like that ceasefire didn't hold up too well, and right now we're seeing Thailand is to halt the implementation of the ceasefire deal with Cambodia. And this was something here that was just celebrated. There was just, I guess you could say, a signing just last month with the U.S. president, I believe, involved in it, that they were praising peace between the two countries, and now it looks like there is no peace. It looks like they are halting the ceasefire as the tensions boil over yet again. So this is quite disturbing to see. It looks like we're having multiple different conflicts that were believed to be ended, firing right back up just very shortly after they were allegedly ended. So not good whatsoever, but I will say this, not trying to, claim I'm right on everything or something, but this was expected. Like, we were not expecting this to hold up. I don't think anybody really was, and it was basically a quick grab of what you call a peace deal that really wasn't going to be holding up for long term. So it's not totally unexpected, but there's the news on it today. But with that, folks, that is actually our last piece of news of the video. So before you go, if you found the video informative, smack the like button to let us know you enjoyed the video. And also, if you have not already, subscribe to the Enforcer channel to stay up to date about the news as it happens in real time. And of course, we put these short war videos out whenever there is big news in the middle of the day, and we cover the rest of the news on our nightly war news streams here on the channel as well at 10 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to join us for that. And also, folks, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do so on our Patreon page. And the link is in the description below for Patreon, where you can go over there and sign up for a monthly membership. And it could be as little as $5 or $10 a month, whatever amount you're comfortable with, does help support the channel tremendously and keep us on the air. And we do sincerely appreciate all of our Patreon supporters. But with that, we will see you all at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. And thank you all for watching. And with that, bye-bye for now.